Alright guys, so we actually finished our check-in part and we're just waiting to be boarded. They have like a procedure here at MSC where they give you a boarding number and then you can board. We're currently boarding 17 and they're on 16 right now, so soon we'll be on. But we got our card. We are gold members on MSC because they match with Royal. I think they're about to call us. It's time for us to go.
Ready? All right.
Well, you ready? Yes. Yes.
cabin 5066. We have our things on the wall. Welcome to our crib.
Welcome to the crib.
All right, so we are in an ocean view cabin. It sleeps 3 or maybe even 4. Maybe 4.
Turns into, somebody could probably sleep on the couch.
Yes.
And then you have the over part too.
Yeah.
The Mel's not sleeping in bed.
No, he's too little to be sleeping out there. We got a king size bed, and I think is it a full king size? It is. It's not like separated. So not as separated. You have your couch here, like Melvin said, a bunk bed at the top, and we have an ocean view. As you can see, we're still in port, not leaving. MSC doesn't leave until 6 p.m. So that's a little different for us. Over here you have your storage. I will say this is a little less storage than we are used to.
Well, the thing is, you have to keep in mind, like when you do when you go to Europe, if anybody that's gone to Europe, you know that it's completely different from at least the U.S. because those are the only 2 countries I've been to. So they over in Europe, they compact space, You know, when you go to a hotel, there's not a lot of space in a hotel room like it would be if you go to a hotel here in the States, especially if you get like a suite. We went to Italy several years back. We had a executive suite. In the United States, it's pretty much a huge, like 2 rooms put together. But over there, it's like a basic room over there. You just get like, you know, a bunch of perks. So I think that's why our rooms are like so compact. There's not a lot of storage on the MSC boat. And I think it has a lot to do with, you know, that's kind of like how culturally, you know, they kind of build their building. So, you know, just kind of be mindful of that. When you come on like a 7-day cruise or something like that, and you're used to packing a lot of stuff, just kind of be prepared. You might have to leave some of that stuff in your suitcase because this is all you get.
Yeah, this is it. We're used to kind of like this, plus usually there's like, we've usually had like some storage over here. In this case, there's no storage by like the vanity area. It's just this. So you do get your safe, and it's not a safe big enough for a laptop, so don't even try. Don't even try to bring your laptop.
Don't even bring an iPad.
Yeah, I don't even think it'll fit an iPad. Maybe a mini iPad. And then you have...
Don't take the risk.
You have 3 open cubbies here. And then you have only 2. I thought it was 3, but that last one is nothing. Yeah, it's nothing. It's false. It's falsities. Okay. So you only have two drawers. I will say they are fairly deep, but they're not very long. So you're still not going to get a whole lot in there. And then you have your closets over here. So you have, you know, your upper part. You also have this area where you can probably hang a few more things if you didn't have like a stroller like us. And then you could like put stuff in some nooks and crannies. But that's it. That's all the storage that you get. You do have a little bit of storage next to the bed. We have some storage on both sides. One thing I will say is there is no plugs. There is no plugs on this side, and there's only one on there.
Make sure that you buy the adapter, because the
European.
They have the European plug. So
they have 2 of these, and those are the European plugs. They only have 2 plugs. So as you can see, we have one of those cruising plugs where you can plug a lot of things into it. But yeah, there's 2 European adapters. So if you really need a lot of you know, plugs, bring that. And then yeah, that's pretty much the storage capacity in here. And then oh look, Melvin found one of our adapters
from Italy.
Our Italy adapter. And then this is the bathroom. Now I will say it's quite
come out of here.
Compact. Okay, it's compact. Now it's a cruise. You're not gonna get a lot of space in the bathroom, but you got enough space to do. Okay, if you need to poo, you have enough space to spread your legs out a little bit if you gotta go. And you know, if you ate too much cheese, then you're lactose intolerant. But one thing I do like is they do have these 2, you know, shelving units. I do love that they have this where you can actually like store your toothbrush and toothpaste. And the cool thing is they actually do have like an under area, so you can actually like store some things under there as well. But it's small and compact. And then your shower, it does come with shampoo and conditioner, but obviously bring your own. I would definitely bring your own. Oh, actually, correction. It's shower gel and shampoo, so it's no conditioner. So if you need conditioner, make sure you're bringing your own conditioner. I'm not very tall, and I can touch the top. So if you're tall, you may have like a little bit of an issue. But yeah, but other than that, that's the room. That's how the dynamic is. Again, we're in an ocean view cabin on deck 5 of 5066. So if you're looking to book the MSC Seaside and you are looking at an ocean view cabin, this is similar to what you might be getting. Okay guys, so we're about to have the muster drill shortly in like 15 minutes.
we have busted out our cups. We've busted out our cups. We are on deck number 5. So when we go straight down the...
what about my shirt?
Oh yes, the mouse shirt. The atrium is like right there, and then yes, my shirt. The atrium is right there, and the dining room is at the other end of the ship. Oh my gosh. But yeah, we're about to watch the muster drill. I just wanted to come in here and talk about some of our experiences so far on as we have come on the ship. So first things first, boarding. So ever since we booked the cruise and we had to print out all the stuff, I was saying that the boarding stuff was not the greatest, because you literally have to print out your boarding pass and the health questionnaire. You know, other cruise lines that we have been on, the one that we're loyal to, does everything online, and so that's been very difficult and very different for us, because it is very different. Like, we've never had to print anything out and physically bring a printed paper to us to board. Anyways, neither here nor there. We did that, but the process seemed very chaotic. Would you say that it was a little chaotic?
Yeah, well, let me see. Yeah, so it's more so like, so just understand that MSC isn't like other cruise lines. So basically, we're leaving out of Port Canaveral. Here in Port Canaveral, you can kind of tell that the port that they leave out of, they share it with other cruise lines. So, and I think that actually adds chaos. You know, we typically go Royal, and Royal actually has their own building, so it's kind of like clockwork, because the staff know what's supposed to happen, and you know, everything moves along. When with the boat that actually shares it with other lines, as you can imagine, they have to set these things up. So when we're in port, like today, they probably set everything up this morning or last night. They'll probably have to break everything down because another ship may or may not be coming into port, because they're sharing the port. It's not theirs. So that can add chaos. So
the terminal.
Yeah, the terminal. So the staff, I mean, you can imagine if you're doing this off and on every week, once, twice, 3 times a week, or however many times the ship is in port, you know, it can be a little chaotic, because a lot of times your staff may not know what's supposed to happen. So just understand, when you come on an MSC boat, if they don't already own the building, if it's not theirs and they're sharing it with another port, maybe, I know down in Miami, because they're based in Miami, they have their own building, so it's much better down there in Miami, I assume. But any port where they're sharing and it's not theirs, you probably won't know until you get there. Just know that it's going to be a process. So to get on the boat. So that's just to get on the boat. Once you're so just understand that.
I will say that it's pretty cool. One thing that they do is they do give you your ship card earlier, so technically, like, you can, if you like to go exploring and spending money already, you already have it when you're like on board, so you can go to the bars, you can get whatever you want to drink. You don't have to kind of like constantly be remembering, oh, what's my stateroom number, what's my stateroom number. You can scan it. And
keep in mind, you know, with MSC, when you book it, you're likely going to book a drink package of some sort. So if you're, you know, like on the lower end for us, then you would, you know, have to keep in mind which drinks you can get. Because, like, for example, I just got a peach margarita, you know, which is included, which is great. That was included because I do like flavor versus the regular ones.
And we didn't know that.
Yeah, we didn't know that. So just know that if you get like a margarita, it will be flavored, because on the list it just says margarita, but it can be flavored without the upcharge so far. And then, but like if I wanted to do like a specialty drink, like a Purple Rain, which at some point I want to have.
That's not included in the $10.
Included in the $10 one. So that's going to be an upcharge. So if you didn't have your key, then you have to remember your stateroom. And one thing that you should know about the stateroom is that we learned that it is backwards. And I'm assuming they do it for safety. So it's like, for example, if your stateroom is, if it says you're on deck 6, room number 1234. When that's on your card, it says that. But when you look at your card, know that your room number is backwards. Deck 64321.
Yes, backwards.
That's your room number.
And it's not listed as room. It's like listed as ID or something like that.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we are in dinner. Here's the dinner menu. Let me flip you around to show you exactly what there is to eat tonight.
Okay.
So, as always, pause the video and tell me exactly what you would get to eat tonight. There's some good looking stuff on here. And I'm really excited to get something delicious. There also is an upcharge menu if you're looking to get anything specific or special. But, yeah.
Right. Lasagna bolognese. Passion fruit cheesecake.
Alright guys, first shot of the cruise. Cheers.
Cheers to family.
Good morning guys, welcome back to the House of Mels. Day 2. We are currently in Ocean Cay, and boys, of course, are still sleeping. I am on my way to get coffee and then pick up some breakfast for them, so we can go ahead and get the day started and head out and explore their private island. So I'm gonna head up to the buffet, and I'll be sure to show you guys what that looks like. And yeah, we'll talk very soon. If I can record some of it, clips will be next. If not, I'll show you the announcement of where I can't record.
I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH, country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? Or just breathing? Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH, country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? Or just breathing? Flashing red lights, driving at night, windowless ride, feeling alive. Nothing in sight, forever in flight. Follow those lines, we'll make it this time. Blurry street lights, work as a guide to memories that we're making tonight. Oh yeah, we'll make it tonight. Yeah.
As you can see, I'm back in my office. The cruise is over and I have my final wrap up, my thoughts on what it is like cruising with MSC and all the details. Now, first, I'm gonna start off with my pros and tell you all about what we liked and what was really great about the process. And then I'm gonna come in with some cons. Because yes, there were some cons. There were some things we did not care for. And it could have just been the timing. It could have been just, you know, even though we've been back into cruising for about 1.5 years now, it could just be still the effects of the panini, okay? So first, gonna get into my likes and what we thought was really great about MSC Seaside. All right, guys, so the pros of the ship, first of all, I have to say this. The ship is absolutely stunning, absolutely beautiful, very modern looking and very intricate in detail. It definitely does look very luxury, and it looks like they put a lot of money into creating the details of the ship. As you saw in the video, the staircase, that Swarovski crystal staircase, is absolutely breathtaking. Honestly, the video does not do it any justice because it is even more beautiful in person. I loved how it had like that tall atrium and all of the silver and just platinum colors that were around the ship, and that was really beautiful. Another thing that was really great was the food. The food was actually really good, and we've heard a lot of complaints about MSC's food. We were really worried about what the food was going to be like because if you haven't told, we like seasoning. We like seasoning in our food. We like food to be well seasoned, and I can honestly say that the food was tasty. Now, were there some misses? Yes, there were some misses, but you know, all food can't be great. There's gonna probably be something that's not wonderful, but in all actuality, for the overall cruise, everything was really good. The pizza was phenomenal. Literally, I was telling Melvin that it reminded me a lot of the pizza that we had when we went to Italy. And we have those vlogs too. If you have not seen our Italy vlogs, make sure you go ahead and click the card up here so you can check those out. We did a Faith and Food foodie trails. If you aren't subscribed to our other channel, Faith and Food, that's our cooking channel. Make sure you go and subscribe to that cooking channel so you can see all kinds of different healthy videos for cooking as well. But it tasted exactly like the food we had in Italy. Like the pizza, it was very fresh tasting. It didn't taste artificial. The sauce was really great. And so the pizza was really good. Honestly, I think Melvin and Lamel ate so much pizza on that cruise, more than they eat when we go on our Royal Caribbean cruises and eat at Sorrento's. They ate a lot of pizza on that cruise. And the pasta was actually really good. They had a pasta station and places where you could get fresh made things. And the one thing that I really loved the most about like the buffet was a charcuterie. Y'all know us in our late 20s and early 30s love a charcuterie because what is it? Grown-up Lunchables. And it was to the max. They had every kind of cheese, from soft cheeses to hard cheeses to all kinds of different kinds of meats, and it was just really, really good. That I really loved. I also ate some really good chicken. It was like an herb roasted chicken, and honestly the seasoning was there. The seasoning was seasoning. So that part was really great as well. Another thing that I did like about the cruise, which was different, don't get me wrong, it was different. I wasn't used to it, but I actually did enjoy it, was the pool being salt water. Now, that is something I've never experienced before. I've never been on a ship or on a cruise that used salt water in their swimming pools. But it actually was nice because it kind of felt like you were in an island and you were in the island water. So the temperature of the pool was really great. It wasn't freezing cold. I know sometimes when you get into cruise pools, they can be super cold. And though that's great in the Caribbean and really hot weather, it was really nice not to have it super freezing. So I love that part. Another thing that I really did like, and although the ship isn't ginormous like we're used to cruising Royal Caribbean in you know, the Oasis class line, even though the ship isn't really huge, it is a big ship. And they've added some really nice features upon the ship, like the bridge of size, where you can walk across this glass bridge. And if you haven't checked out the video and saw it earlier in the video and saw that, make sure you check that piece out. But my goodness, that is so beautiful. And you get really beautiful aft views. And that's one of my most favorite places on the ship, is the aft, to see like the wake and everything in the ocean. That part was just super phenomenal and super wonderful to see that. Another thing that we really loved is we really loved their private island, Ocean Cay. Now, you have to take it for what it's worth. It's not Perfect Day at Coco Cay, so it's not full of like a whole bunch of thrills, but it is the best kind of island for relaxation. And I say that because there's so many different areas that you can go onto the island that provides a space to be relaxed. Isn't that part of the reason why you go on vacation, is to kind of just relax and enjoy your time on vacation? Well, that's what you can get at Ocean Cay. The also thing that I really loved is that they have an area that is called the Lagoon, and the Lagoon area is, I mean, it is deep. It does have deep areas, and it can, you know, it's still like, it's still ocean, but it is a more calmer area. There's not ocean waves, there's none of that. And so it's a great area for you to, if you have kids and you want the kids to be able to play in the water, it's a great area for that. I would say that there is, I would say not as many sea life in that area. There are some sea life. We did see, well, I did see, because I went snorkeling, some fish and there were jellyfish, so I would be careful about that. But there were fish and jellyfish, and I just love that the water was super calm. So it was a great area, especially for Lamel. He likes to play in the sand, and he doesn't like to go all the way in the water, but he likes to be at the edge. and Melvin also likes to be at the edge of water. They don't, you know, they don't dive and submerge. I am the mermaid in this family. So that's a great area for families to rest. I also loved that they do an overnight in their island. So they have a beach party, they had a lighthouse show, the bartenders and everybody were on the island at night. So it was a very different experience to be able to be on an island at night and enjoy the festivities of the island at night. I did love that part. And I did love that you could come on and off the ship, Did love that part. We only had one other experience that we actually got to stay overnight. It was a really long time ago on one of our first Royal Caribbean cruises, and it was because they couldn't dock somewhere. It was the only reason that happened. But this is part of MSC's itinerary, which I think is really fantastic and really great. And I love that they include that for their cruisers. So yeah, that was majority of the things that I really loved about the cruise and the ship. And I thought those were really great features. And oh yes, another thing, I forgot to mention this. So one thing about MSC is the pricing is phenomenal, okay? The price of the cruise was splendid, okay? We had a basically an all-inclusive package, which came with a drink package for myself, a drink package for Melvin, my husband, and a drink package, minors, for my son. So you could get pretty much anything in the drink package up to $10. We had an Easy Plus package, Easy Plus beverage package. So you can literally get a drink at a bar, anything $10 and under, and there's a lot of drinks that are included in the $10 and under. It's actually really surprising. So you literally could drink all kinds of things all day long, and you could be really, you know, toasty by the end of the day. But obviously moderate yourself, and if you're underage, we do not be drinking. Come on, let's do better. But yeah, it's a really great package, and the pricing was phenomenal for the three of us. We paid like about $900 for like a 3-day cruise, inclusive of a drink package, and we really didn't pay anything really extra, except for a $14 umbrella on Ocean Cay. That included a drink package and it included Wi-Fi. So that was really great. The price, you cannot beat it with a stick. Honestly, that was one of the biggest things that made us kind of go and book with MSC, because honestly, they were originally on our radar. We are very much a royal family. And so, you know, that was really great to kind of try something new, try something different, and for a really good price. A lot of the times, MSC will have a deal going on of like kids being free, or even having the drink package and Wi-Fi included in your cruise fare. They do like a comprehensive all-inclusive type thing. So definitely, if you are a family that likes to cruise on a budget or vacation on a budget, MSC is definitely a space for you. I would definitely go and look into them. Now, the not so great. So there were some things that MSC could definitely do better. Now, they are a European line, so, you know, they cater to Europeans more. So I would say the dynamic of what American lifestyle might be is a little different to the European lifestyle. It's very leisure. It's very laid back. There's not a ton of activities to do. Now, mind you, remember, we've cruised Carnival, we've cruised Royal Caribbean. We're waiting to cruise some other cruise lines to also compare those kinds of things. But on the cruises that we have been on, we hear announcements, we hear about things that's happening during the day. Obviously, you usually have your app, you have your an itinerary that's in your room that gives you a whole bunch of things of what to do. MSC does have an app. It does have, you know, the cruise compass or the cruise guide that you can look at what activities are going on. But I would say their activities are minimal. I I would say there was a very few activities. I didn't even hear about bingo. And usually, you know, one of the things you hear about the most on a cruise is bingo, 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 bingo. I didn't hear anything about bingo. But again, that could be like a super American thing. And that's probably why that you didn't hear it. Another thing is the app is good-ish. I would say it could use some improvement. You can't go in and like make reservations beforehand. So a lot of the cruise lines, you can go in on the day of the first day of cruise. You can really make your whole schedule for the whole amount of the cruise. In here, you cannot do that. You can only do a day up. So literally, if you're relaxing and you're not remembering the things that you want to do, you will forget and things will sell out. Also, it's really hard to kind of like see everything that's going on. It does have it, but it's kind of confusing, the app. Also, it didn't seem like you can also see the menus for the dining room for like future nights. Apparently, you could have seen it for the day of. I did not see that. I did not find that. But in cruise forums, they did say that you could see it for the day of. But again, I'm a planner. Anyone else out there a planner? I plan things. I like to know things. I like to have things squared away and set together, but I could not do that. So it gave me anxiety. I was having anxiety because I could not do it. I couldn't see what I was going to eat that night. I could not. So that wasn't so great. So I would say they would need a lot of improvement on the app and all the things that's within the app and activities within the ship. Speaking of activities, the activities that were minimal, they were great. Like, so going back to some positives again, the shows were phenomenal. They really do put a lot of effort into shows. That Star Walker show, chef's kiss, beautiful. The Peter Punk or Punk Peter, whatever it was called, that show was awesome. Like the acrobatics and all of that. But other than that, I felt like there was really nothing else to do except lounge around the pool, hang out, or drink. It just felt like there wasn't a lot of activities going on. Now, mind you, this was a 3-day cruise, so it was 4 days, 3 nights. So maybe that's the reason there wasn't a lot of things happening. But I've been on 3 to 4 night cruises, and I've had more activities than I saw on the ship. Another thing that I didn't love was service. We both we went with some of our cousins, and they also agreed with this, that the service was not great. We are used to a certain level of service, and it just kind of felt like no one cared. And I had a conversation with people in different forums who had different kinds of experiences, and they said that they received great service, but unfortunately, that experience was not my own. Now, I will say some of those people that did say they had wonderful service were in Yacht Club, which is a higher tiered club for MSC. And if we were going to try them again, we definitely would want to try the Yacht Club. But it is quite unfortunate that to get a good level of service that you might have to be in a higher tier. Especially being that we matched our status from Royal Caribbean and were gold members in the MSC Voyagers Club and still did not receive the greatest service. So it constantly felt like we were fighting to get attention. At bars, they were packed. Now, we are at max capacity again in cruising, okay? The days of leisurely, nobody on the ship cruising is gone. The panini is in the past, okay? But I don't feel as though it should make a difference whether we had 1,000 people on the ship or 3,000 people on the ship. Service should stay and maintain the same. Now, service is super important to make sure customers' experience is really great. And honestly, I think they are lacking staff members. Now, for me, I give them a benefit of a doubt for that. Melvin didn't want to give them a benefit of a doubt for like lacking staff members. Hell no. But like, it's true. It shouldn't be that because you have less people, the service is not as good. So we had an experience. We went and there's at the jungle pool, there's a pool in the middle of the ship. that is kind of like, it looks like a jungle theme. So we were there and we were with our cousins, and I went to the bar to go get a drink, a couple of drinks. So there was a ton of people at the bar, and granted, I'm a super patient person and will wait patiently. But time was a ticking, and people were getting served that came up after me, and I was kind of like, okay, like what's going on here? And I finally was like waving my card, like, excuse me, can you help me? Like, we've been waiting. And so he finally gets the drink. I order a drink. I'm going to order another drink, but my cousin is there. So I'm like, oh yeah, and he would like a drink as well. And then the bartender walks off to go make the drinks. And I'm like, okay, cool. So he comes back and I'm like, oh, and I got one more drink. And his response to me is, you should have told me about the drink while I was making them. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, so I'm taking a step back, kind of like, okay, excuse me, I'm sorry. Like, I do have one more drink. And he's like, do you not see how many people are sitting here at the bar waiting? I have a long list of people waiting. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I've waited a long time too. This is like, that's not okay, and that's not how you treat a customer. So that really put a really bad taste in my mouth with the service. Another instance of when we were going to when we were in our stateroom, we had some broken hangers, and I called guest services to kind of find where my stateroom attendant is. I'm used to seeing stateroom attendants walking around in the beginning of the ship. At least they're introduced themselves to you, all that kind of stuff. I called down to find the stateroom attendant, and the first thing I get is, why are you looking for him? And I'm like, I'm sorry. The attitude is a little weird. And I'm like, oh, I was just trying to, you know, find him because I have some broken hangers and I need some additional items. And then it's like, oh, okay, all right, I'll send some up. It's just like the beginning, the initial attitude, it's just not necessary. It just rubs you the wrong kind of way. So that was unfortunate. And a similar situation happened with my husband, where he was trying to get some things for our son. We had a situation, as you can see in the video, the bunk bed situation. My son is too small to sleep in a bunk bed like that. It had no real bars around it. So if you fell, it would be a problem. So we said, oh, we want to put the bunk bed up, and we want to put him on the couch. Can you, prepare the couch? So later that evening, when it's late and it's time for us to go to bed, we come into our room and there is nowhere for my son to sleep. They've taken all the pillows, all the sheets, all of the blankets, everything out. And I'm like, what? Like, they didn't leave anything. So I'm like, nah, I have nowhere for Lamel to sleep. Now we're having to call around and find out where the stuff is. I want to say it was like an hour and a half before we even got anything. And I mean, it's late and we want to put our son to bed. He's 4. And so it's kind of like frustrating when you're having service like that. My husband would be going out in the hallway, asking like anybody he sees walking around, any worker he sees walking around, and they're basically telling him, I'm sorry, we're off. Well, somebody will come. We're off. And it's like, this is not how you treat someone who's paying money to your line to be able to enjoy the experiences on the boat. So needless to say, service was not the greatest. It was not very welcoming. It was very slow. There was a lot of attitudes. It was unfortunate. So that kind of tainted the experience for us a little bit. It tainted our thought process on how MSC runs and operates. Like I said earlier, if we were to do this again, if we were to go into MSC doing this again, we would definitely try a yacht club. And it's very a big if, because that was really unfortunate. I hated that was our very first experience, especially for, trying a new line and really loving the price and loving the ability to make it an all-inclusive type of vacation. That was really unfortunate. So those are some of the things that really rubbed us the wrong way. There was some other things where, by the pool, there wasn't really any shade. In the main pool area, you had to like sit under a specific area. There was nowhere by the pool to be able to like lounge in the shade without being in the blazing heat. It was like, felt like there was really no activities happening by the pool. There was barely any music. Another thing you can't do on MSC is you cannot bring your drink in the pool. So like, which is not a terrible thing, like that's okay, but it's like a new thing. It just felt like a lot of the spaces of where they would put chairs and stuff was empty. It just didn't feel like what we're used to. And though that's unfortunate, I'm just, you know, sharing our experiences with you all. You can feel free to make your own opinion about MSC. We don't want to, you know, gauge what your thoughts are. Definitely try it and see if you have the same kind of experiences, but we just want to provide our experience of what we experienced on the ship. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole gist of it. There's a whole lot more. If you're not already following us on Instagram, be sure to go and head over to the House of Mels Instagram. We shared a whole bunch of video clips. You can find it in our MSC highlights. If you're not already following us here on YouTube, what are you doing? What are you doing? Let's give you a moment. Let's give you a moment to go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and make sure you turn on your notification bell. All right, now that you've done that, welcome to the family. Welcome to the house. So happy to have you here. Thank you for, you know, viewing our MSC vlog. We love travel. If you love travel too, make sure you're following along with us. And hopefully we'll see you on another cruise very soon. Leave a comment down below and let us know if you're traveling anywhere soon. And until next time, we'll see you in the house.